Hi, I'm Teja. I'm a developer relations engineer at Harness. In this video, we're going to learn about how you could perform SCA for your code repositories, the software composition analysis using Harness STO. Before we jump into the whole implementation, let me touch upon what SCA is. To put it very simple, it scans through your dependencies from your log files where your packages and their versions are declared, and then it compares them against a public vulnerability database linking to the associated CVEs. So it does not perform any logical analysis on your source code, but it totally gets into your software dependencies, including direct and indirect, and gives you a complete details of libraries with vulnerabilities. So in Harness STO, the module brings you a set of scanners for performing the SCA. Also, on top of this, the module comes with a set of built-in scanners here for SCA. If you just wanted to perform the scan irrespective of what tool to choose and the configurations, you can quickly set up the built-in scanner for SCA and perform the scan in just a few clicks. And if you do not find the scanner that you generally use for SCA, the module also comes with the step called custom scan, where it allows you to have a huge list of scanners that are supported by Harness. So now let's get into the implementation. So what you see on screen is an existing Harness pipeline with no stages. So you can quickly create one, click on add new stage. You can choose a build stage or a security stage. If you're using Harness CI, you can use build stage and access all the STO steps in the build stage. Or you can quickly create a security stage. Let us name it as security test and enable the clone code base, configure your Git. If you're using Harness code repository, you can choose this, or go for third-party Git provider, select the connector. In case if you have not connected, you can create a new connector from here, select your source code management and get your SCM connected. Once you save it, you should be able to find your connector here. In my case, this, apply selected. And next, let me give my repository name for which I want to perform the scan. Have a shop, set up the stage. Now let us configure our infrastructure. I'm going to choose my Kubernetes and selecting the cluster, and next the namespace, continue. This is where we're going to add the scanner to perform the SCA. Before that, it's important to have the dependencies installed of our project. So let us quickly add a new step, which is a run step to install our dependencies. You can go for run, and then I'm going to choose my container registry. If you have not connected, you can create a new connector the same way you configured for SCM and apply selected. Next, I'm going to use the Node 14 version, choose shell, and the command I'm going to use is npm install, apply changes. Now let's go ahead and add the SCA scanner. Click on add step, and here you have security test section by itself, or you can go to the SCA specific section and you can choose your scanner to perform the SCA. Or in case if you're wondering what to choose and go quickly started with SCA, you can go for built-in scanners and choose SCA. This will bring up the options to choose scanners. You can choose any of them. I'm going to stick with OWASP dependency check, add scanner. Right at this point, you can quickly save this and run it. It will work perfect. But let's also review what's inside this step. As you click into it, you should be able to see the first option to set a name, description, and the scan mode of orchestration or ingestion. In case of orchestration, you run the scan and then perform the data ingestion and normalize and duplicate the results. Where in case of an ingestion, this is where you configure the step to read scan results from a data file and then ingest and do all of that. So I'm going to stick with orchestration, and the scan configuration is set to default. Target type is set to repository default, and the target and variant detection, it is best if you can go with auto so that it will automatically detect your target and variant. Or if you want to give a manual, you can give the name. A name is where the label that you want to assign to the target you are scanning, and then variant, it's an identifier for a specific target to scan, such as branch name in our case. But I'm going to choose auto, and then the workspace is where you enter the path on the pod running the security step, and the default is /harness. And next you can set the log levels. You can keep it to info, debug, or anything. I'm going to stick with info, and here you can pass additional CLA flags to the scanner. I'm going to skip it. And next you have fail on severity. This is where you set the severity at which you want to fail the pipeline. If the scanner finds any vulnerability with the specified severity or higher, the pipeline fails. So I'm going to choose critical. So if there is any critical thing, the pipeline fails. Or if you choose high, if there is any high or above, it fails. And right up there, you can quickly apply changes. Let's go ahead and quickly save this and run it. The branch name set to main, run pipeline. After fast forwarding, So here we are with a successful execution, which means that our main branch do not have any critical vulnerabilities in the SCA scan. Let's go ahead and view the test results. You can go to Security Test tab. This is where you have a complete overview of the vulnerabilities with their severities, and as you go down, you have the issues. You can quickly select in, and then you should be able to find further details of the issue. You have a quick description and the types of the issues with severe references and all the details here. So this is how you can quickly perform an SCA for your code repository. But I want to do something even more interesting. I want to trigger this pipeline not manually, but by raising a PR. So the moment I raise a PR on my repository, I want to trigger this SCA scanning on my feature branch. So to do that, I'm going to go quickly add a trigger, have it already configured. If you go to triggers, I have a trigger set up. If you just get into it, you should be able to see the details on trigger on PR. You can quickly configure it by creating it with your connector, repository name, and the event tuple request. You can set the actions. In my case, I set to any. And next, as you go on, keep it to default and continue. You can set the code base to trigger.source branch so that it takes the feature branch to perform the scan, and then save it. There you go. So let's go ahead and quickly raise a PR. So here I am trying to raise a PR to my main branch, and as I click on create pull request, as you scroll down, you should be able to find our pipeline got triggered and it is currently executing. To get into more details, you can click on this details, which will take you to the Harness execution page after fast forwarding. So here we are with the failure execution this time, and as you get into details, you should be able to find a message, fail on severity set to critical, and that threshold was reached. So in our source branch, there are vulnerabilities with the severity critical. The pipeline got failed and the PR gets blocked. So if you get into the PR, you should be able to find the checks have failed and the PR got blocked. As you get into the test results, you should be able to find there are critical issues which are added and remediated. And as you get in detail, you should also be able to find the critical issues here. And you can also find the remediation steps and take actions accordingly. And as you remediate them, you should also be able to find the status of remediation on these issues getting highlighted here. So this is how you can use Harness STO for performing SCA on your code repositories. Thank you.